Solari, Rotary International Vice President, has been in Rotary since 1993 and is currently a proud member of the Rotary Club of Anaheim, California. She served as district governor for District 5320 in 2010 and 2011 and was selected to serve as our Rotary International Director for Zones 26 and 27 for 2019 to 2021. And this year now also as our Rotary International Vice President. Johrita, when she was district governor, listen to this, she held the first District 5320 $1 million dinner for the Rotary Foundation. And under her leadership, District 5320 also became the second district in the world to become a 100% Paul Harris Club district. I want to hear about that. Johrita is the co-founder and chief visionary officer for Solari Enterprises, Inc., which is a full-service property management company that specializes in the management of affordable multifamily housing. And her whole family is into all things Rotary. Her husband, Bruce, and her daughters, Gianna and Tressa, are all past club presidents, active supporters of the foundation. Johrita's son-in-law is also a Paul Harris Fellow. Reese is a Paul Harris Fellow and active in all things Rotary. And this is the first time in history of Rotary. Excuse me, I'm kind of tickly. This is the first time in Rotary history that a Rotary International Director is serving at the same time as her daughter is a district governor. So Gianna is my classmate in Rotary. And Bruce and Johrita are longtime members of the Rotary International Fellowship of Scuba Divers, something we in New Mexico have not much experience with. There's a lot I could tell you about Johrita, but I don't want to cut into her time. I will say, before I turn the microphone over to her, that Johrita is, in my experience, one of the warmest, most welcoming, most wise people in Rotary that I've ever met. And she is a joy. So I'm very happy to welcome and ask you to help me welcome our Rotary International Vice President, Johrita Solari.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. I appreciate that. You're very kind. You know, it's always good to be with you. And I want you to know that I am grateful for everything that you're doing. And thank you so much. And Jeffrey, thank you for inviting me to speak and making all the necessary arrangements for this evening. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be showing a video just in a few minutes for me. Yes. Also, greetings, President Ed, and past district governors Dick and Gary, and to the greater Rotary family. I'd also like to just let you know that I'm very impressed, and I'd like to send my congratulations for reaching your membership goal of 64 active members. I think that is awesome. And I am delighted to be here speaking with the family of Rotary, which is one of my favorite rewards for being a member of the Rotary International Board of Directors. So, you know, I think you'll agree with me that these are significant and exciting times to be a member of our Rotary family. So this evening, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about change, about recognizing the possibilities change has given to us, and then open it up for any questions you may have. And there are no bad questions, so I'm open to any questions. President Holger said, Rotary is not just a club you join, but an invitation to endless opportunities. Well, and to know me is to know I am a big fan of Simon Sinek, the leadership guru and author of the best-selling book, Start with Why. He explains why leaders like Martin Luther King or Mother Teresa are able to inspire people to action, when other leaders with the same resources are not. They seem to have something different. Well, as it turns out, all great and inspiring leaders know why they do what they do. They know their purpose, their belief. Mother Teresa, a tiny woman of 4 feet 11 inches and less than 100 pounds, chose to serve the poorest of the poor and to live among them and like them. She saw beauty in all individuals who were abandoned or rejected by others. She knew her purpose, her why. And Martin Luther King sought to raise public consciousness of racism, to end racial discrimination and segregation in the United States as an advocate of nonviolent social change. He knew his purpose, his belief, his why. And as Rotarians, we should understand our purpose, our why. Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you discovered why you were born. And this evening, I would like to share Simon's recent 5-minute video of him talking to his company's executive team, explaining why these are not unprecedented times. He talks about when something unexpected happens, the companies or organizations that refuse to change or reinvent themselves go out of business. And those that do change or reinvent themselves come out stronger. So Jeff, if we could take a look at the video.
Reinvent yourself, come out stronger.
Can you all see the screen?
I just did a podcast interview with some folks in Australia, and they were pushing me very hard to try and explain how the infinite mindset helps in times like these. And I had a thought on that call that I wanted to share with everybody, which is these are not unprecedented times. There are many cases, lists of cases, where change or something unexpected has put many companies out of business and made other companies come out stronger and reinvent themselves. The invention of the internet put many, many companies out of business. The ones who could not reinvent their companies for the internet age, but rather double down on the old way they did business. Every video store is out of business because of streaming, and they couldn't reinvent themselves. When Starbucks moved into neighborhoods, many, many companies went out of business. Many coffee shops went out of business, not because of Starbucks, but because they refused to change the way they did business. They still had an old ripped up couch when you had a better product. Uber is putting taxi companies out of business, not because of Uber, it's because the taxis refuse to change. This is not unprecedented. The fact that something new and this more sudden, absolutely. More shocking, absolutely. Without a doubt. But this is not unprecedented in the business world. And so for us to say, not how do we do what we're doing, but rather, how will we do what we're doing in a different world? And the world is different. And the thing that I said on this interview was, it's the companies that have been investing in will and having an infinite mindset for a long time that will come out of this stronger because they're prepared. Many of them were saving money as opposed to giving out huge fat bonuses to everybody and spending all the money. And the will of the people is high to figure out a way through it. The ones that are struggling the most are the ones that spent all their money, saved nothing, appeased Wall Street, and the will of the people is low, that people are in survival mode rather than reinvention mode. It's the companies that with an infinite mindset that are in reinvention mode. It's the companies with a finite mindset that are in survival mode, regardless of how much money they have. It's the mindset. How are we going to get through this versus how are we going to change to get through this? So I feel so optimistic because we're thinking about the future. We're in a dark tunnel. But there is a light over there. I don't know how far away that light is, but I can see it. But we're in darkness now, but when we come out of there, we will have a better train. A different train. We will be a completely different business. Some of us will have different jobs by the time we get out of this. And that's our opportunity. The opportunity is, what will we be? Not how do we preserve what we had. That's an infinite mindset. And I'm so proud of this team, because my attitude is this, not theoretically, but because I'm watching a team go through it right now. I'm watching people reinvent themselves. I'm watching people think about their jobs differently. I'm watching people think, how can I contribute in a new way? I'm watching people say, what could we be? How will we bring our message to people in a different way, in new ways? That will last forever, by the way, not just for now. So proud of you guys, love you guys. Because we are a living example of the stuff that I'm talking about out loud. I get to say, we are doing this. We're not allowing Uber to put us out of business. We're not allowing Starbucks to put us out of business. We're not allowing the internet to put us out of business. We'll reinvent ourselves. This is not unprecedented. This has happened many, many, many times in business. This one's just a little more sudden.
And by different jobs, you don't mean different jobs out of this company, but reinvent yourself within this company.
That is the opportunity. So I know a company, it's a fine dining restaurant in New York City. He's figured out a way to become a delivery company. All of his people have kept their jobs because they have different jobs now. But if you think you're going to do the same job and you're waiting, like if you're a public speaker who was waiting for this to get through so you can go stand on a stage, I got some bad news. That ship has sailed. We have to be a normal company now. We have to market ourselves and develop product. This is a huge wake-up call for us. We had the luxury of being lazy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. There was no reason to reinvent when we were drinking from a fire hose. But now the opportunity is magical. I'm thinking, how do I put myself out there without a stage? This is entirely new for me as well. This is entirely new for me. But I'm not worried about what I do. I'm worried about why I do it. And I will find a job that helps me do that. I'll make a job that helps me do that. And I expect the same of everyone. And here's the best thing, you don't have to do it alone. We've got each other's backs, we'll help each other. Some of it'll be easy, some of it'll be unbelievably difficult. This is a very, very magical team. We're streamlined. Good? All right, I gotta go to the doctor.
Thank you, Simon.
All right, I love you guys.
Wash your hands.
I'm more worried about the doctor. Bye.
Huh?
Kids want to eat.
Thank you, Jeff.
I just did
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
It's a thought-provoking 5 minutes. You know, we've all been guilty of making the excuse that it's too hard or change just won't work. But I think you'll agree with me that we have been experiencing years of transformational change packed into the last 5+ months that will have lasting effects. Well, this pandemic is terrible, no question. It has given us an ability to ride the wave of change. And Rotarians are taking advantage of the possibilities being presented to us, to all of us. And Rotary needs leaders like you who are taking advantage of the opportunities that have and will continue to present themselves as we live through and come out of this pandemic. We need to change. We need to think out of the box. How will Rotary do what we're doing, but in a different world? You all are taking advantage of what we're learning now to reinvent or create the new norm to do the business of Rotary. you are still able to continue to strongly support Project Hope, delivering the fresh produce to the Navajo Nation. You're supporting your healthcare heroes in your communities, and as Ed said, planting trees and building ramps for seniors, 1 per month for a year. That's awesome. And you've created a hybrid club environment. You are putting service above self. And you know, you don't have to go back to the old ways of doing business.
Hey, knock it off.
You don't have to change everything, but I ask you to ask why you are doing what you're doing. Asking why doesn't mean that it's wrong. It could be that you may want to tweak something or get rid of it, but asking why gets you down to the root reason of why we do what we do. Think about how will you do business of the business of Rotary in this club once COVID-19 passes. You can change mindsets. You all know and have proven how important it is to ask and answer the question, can we have a better Rotary Club experience? You are doing good in the world in a different and lasting way. All over the world, Rotarians are adapting to the ways we're connecting and serving. Rotarians are disrupting what people think about Rotary in very positive ways. All of us are change makers and peacemakers. And the world needs Rotary more now than ever before. And we will come out of this better. And the opportunity is magical. Our theme this year, Rotary Opens Opportunities, is real and perfect for these times. Let's take advantage of the opportunities that change has given to us. Each one of us has the ability to make a positive impact and shape what Rotary can be. These are significant times and exciting times to be a member of our Rotary family. I challenge you to find your Rotary purpose, your Rotary why. Why are you in Rotary? Stand tall and walk in your Rotary purpose. I thank you for your kind attention, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you this evening. And as I said earlier, I'm open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
So let's see if we can, yes, thank you so much. Let's see if we can ask questions through just our regular audio rather than using the chat. Let's just see how it goes. Right now, we're not hearing too much feedback. So do we have questions for Vice President Johrita?
Well, I'll start with one. Johrita, thank you. That was a wonderful reminder of the opportunities in front of us now. When it comes to thinking outside the box, I have to tell you that I had never in my life thought about being a 100% Paul Harris Club district. So that was really outside the box. I wonder if you could just tell us for a moment how it came about and what it took to do that.
Well, thank you for the question, Sunny. It took a lot of teamwork. It took, as the governor, I had started a few years before as the nominee, and as the president-elects, as the presidents of the clubs were chosen, we would meet socially and talk about what goals they wanted to have. And they asked me, well, what are some of your goals? And I said, you know, it would be great. I was looking at our foundation giving, and I think it would be great if we had a 100% Paul Harris Club district. And they asked me what that meant, and I said that means everyone in the club becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. So everybody has to be a Paul Harris Fellow. And I think you guys can do it. And they said, yeah, I think I can do it. We could do it too. and the assistant governors came in, got in on it. The past district governors got in on it, and the whole competitive thing started happening, and everybody actually was very excited about it. And it took all of the Rotary year to do, and we came down to the wire with 2 clubs, and I think it was 2 clubs, 2 months left in the Rotary year, and there were only a few people left that hadn't gotten there. But the 2 club presidents promised me that they would make it happen, and they did. And so it's all about relationships and understanding what the foundation does.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Do we have other questions?
So I wonder, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, so this is Jerry. Johrita probably knows, well, I'll give a little history. When I started in Rotary, it was an all-men's organization. It was only a few years after I joined that we went through the allowing women in Rotary. Hesitate to say it that way, but that was the change. And it was so good for my club. And I'm excited to know that this coming 2 years from now, I guess, but in the pipeline, that we will have our first woman who's president of Rotary International. And Johrita, I was rooting for you, but you're vice president, and I hope that you'll stay in the pipeline and be our president one of these days too. But what a change for this time. Can you address that a little bit? How exciting is that?
I can. Thank you, Gary, and thank you for your kind words. So Jennifer Jones was selected by the nominating committee, and I have to tell you, she is very qualified, and the fact that she's a female is just a little bit of icing on the cake or cherry on top. But frankly, she is in my opinion, and in the nominating committee's opinion, the most qualified Rotarian to be able to serve as RI president in, I think it's 22, 23, 20, 21, 22, 22, 23, 22, 23. I have known Jennifer quite a while, and I have to tell you, we've had a conversation, and she is thoroughly excited and is looking forward to this journey. And it's the right time with this to happen. And I know that a lot of people are excited. I was kind of different for me, because this is an easy question that people would ask me at the end of a session. When are we going to have the first female president? Now that question's gone. It's too easy to answer. But yeah, that Jennifer is going to be excellent. She really is. I'm excited, and I hope you're excited as I am.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Johrita, I'm Dave Ring, and I've been a Rotarian for 40 years. And I'd like to look at the big picture for a moment. I had the opportunity last year to go to India on a polio eradication team. And one of the issues for that part of the world is what's happening with Rotary in Hong Kong. Now that the Chinese are flexing their muscles and making Hong Kong part of their country, Rotary is not permitted in China. What's the scoop on that? What's going to happen to the Chinese Rotary clubs in Hong Kong as a result of those political changes?
Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. And thank you for your service in doing an NID. That's in India. Thank you so much for doing that. I do know that I don't know what's going to happen. That's a crystal ball. It's so fluid, but I do know that if in fact the government doesn't support the spirit and the heart of Rotary, that Rotary International will not support that Rotary Club. If the government comes in and takes over, that will not be good for Rotary in Hong Kong. I know that during the war, during World War II, different Rotary clubs went underground and kept meeting, but it wasn't an official piece in Germany, but they kept meeting. And the same thing may happen in Hong Kong. Right now, it's also the same situation in Vietnam and one other country, I've forgotten which one, other one. But if the government gets involved, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
And thank you for your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Johrita? I have one, but I want to wait. Well, I'll ask.
Oh, I don't have a question. I just have a statement, you know.
Yeah.
It was 100 years ago that the women were given the right to vote, I believe, and I just wonder what took you guys so long.
Oh, Ed. Do you really want to go there?
Well, my wife tells me women are going to take over the world, and it's just a matter of time, and I've accepted that, and I'm fine with that. Yes.
Well, again, Ed, the fact that you don't know it's already happened, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, Your Highness.
Jeff, I have one more question.
Please.
I'm just wondering, Johrita, I know there are places in the world where women are still not regularly welcomed into Rotary. And I'm wondering if having Jennifer Jones as president will have an impact on those clubs. Do you think we might see some changes there?
A good question, thank you. I think that who we show ourselves to be has an impact, has a huge impact. Who you show yourself to be on this screen has an impact and has a statement. And every time that Jennifer will be in public has a statement. And yes, there will be, I feel, a strong impact. What will it be? I'm not sure. We have a lot of different cultures that we're dealing with. Rotary International, there's a lot of different cultures and a lot of different ways we have to approach things. But if we don't start showing ourselves to what we want to look like as an organization, we won't have an impact. And I'm pleased to say we are starting to do that.
That's wonderful. Well put. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since I've known you, with all the accolades that Sunny mentioned, I would also add that you're one of the finest change agents that I've met. And I think that video kind of reinforces kind of how you think. And I'm wondering if you've noticed that there's been an increased rate of change as a result of COVID. And if so, what can Rotary do to kind of keep that rate of change going when COVID, hopefully sooner rather than later, is behind us and we get back to whatever the normal is? How can we sustain that rate of change?
Okay, good question, Jeff. Thank you. I would like you to know that Rotary International has a pandemic response task force that's that has been put together by Holger immediately following the board's decision that Rotarians would not be traveling and that governors would not be going for governor visits, but doing virtual. He put together this task force to look at the immediate and long-term effects of COVID-19. In that, I'm the board liaison to the task force. We are looking at what's working now in the club, district, and international level, and what's going to be sustainable. For instance, we have heard for years this organization is so slow. We have board meetings 4 times a year. 2 of those are at international meetings, International Assembly and the Rotary International Convention, and then 2 times in Evanston. Only meet 4 times a year. We are meeting every month, sometimes twice a month now, and via Zoom, and the Rotary Foundation trustees are meeting every week. So what we're looking at is, okay, how do we want to sustain this reasonably? Because frankly, you can meet every week at the trustees, you can meet every week with the board, and then you have committee meetings, and then you have other meetings, and then you have district governor meetings, you have all these meetings, but you only have the same amount of staff. So we're looking at what are the guardrails that we need to put up in as we continue to move out of the pandemic, but looking at how can we meet and on a virtual platform. So we're looking at virtual platforms a lot more. We're also looking at what is good to not have anymore via in-person meetings and use virtual. So we're looking at a lot of educational opportunities that don't necessarily require in-person meetings. So, or that you could do hybrid meetings, as you guys have done your hybrid club meetings. So a lot of work is going into looking at what works now and what do we want to keep and how can we make it better.
Excellent, thank you.
So right now we're looking at a virtual and in-person meeting for Taiwan. Doesn't mean we're not going to have a convention in Taiwan in person, but we're not going to be caught short. So that's all happening right now.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions for Vice President Johrita?
Jeff, this is Gary again, can I just pipe in real quick? Johrita reminded me of something. Usually Zone Institute, we were only able to send a few of our members to Zone Institute, but it's virtual this year. I know Sonny's working to try and get a lot more people from our district to attend Zone Institute. And so that's an opportunity too for Rotarians that they might not have had in the past.
Such a deal.
Oh, it is. And thank you, Gary, for mentioning it. It is. And, you know, we already have Rick Steves, Rick Steves, who is the travel guy on TV. He's already signed up and inked in, and he's going to be one of our speakers. Also, Steve Farber, who was a speaker in Hamburg, is also one of our speakers and is inked in as well. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting, a lot of fun. And if you'd like to see a little bit more about it, go to the Zone website, zone2627.org, and just click on the Institute information and you can get information from that. And it's, I think we have a $50 registration fee for all 3 days, I believe it is. And that helps us, by the way, to pay for the speakers, because even though they don't have a stage, they want to get money too. So we have to end up paying for them as well.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, let's give another roaring round of Zoom applause for Vice President Johrita.
Thank you. Before I go, can I just do one more thing? May I just do one more thing?
Yes.
Okay, so all of you Zoomers, right? Are you familiar with that little on the bottom of the screen that has a camera on it? It says stop video and it has an arrow. If you click up, has an arrow going up. If you click there and choose video filter,
yep,
and then come on with me, and you get to play. And as Sonny said, I'm a scuba diver. Oh, I'm a scuba diver.
Oh, yes.
And you can play with, and it moves with you.
That's a partier.
See?
Great.
So the reason I say that, I'm going over here. The reason I say that is because you said it when you were ending your 4-way test, and the 5th was have fun. So there you go, Dick. Look at you, pirate, you bunnies. I love it. So have fun when you're doing your Rotary. And look at COVID, a COVID-19 mask. That's great. Love it.
That's great. Thank you so
Johrita,
much.
it's such a treat to have you with us. Thank you for joining us on Labor Day.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. You guys are doing great work. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.